Turn left out of school onto Clayton Road. Stay for 1.1 miles. Use the right lane to take the Missouri 141 south ramp and merge onto Missouri 141 for 5.7 miles. Then take a slight right onto I-44 ramp to St. Louis. Take exit 277A toward Watson Road for 0.3 miles and take the Watson Road exit. Then continue straight onto Old Route 66 East Watson Road for 2 miles. Then turn right onto Party Lane for 0.8 miles and continue straight onto Grant Road. Then you will arrive at Grant's Farm.
Grant's Farm is the palatial suburban estate located in Grantwood Village and associated with the Anheuser-Busch brewing family. The grounds, partly open to the public, display the Busch Family Zoo, a collection of coaches and riding memorabilia, as well as the brewery mascot, the Clydesdale horses. The land was once farmed by Ulysses S. Grant, hence the appellation. After Grant's log house was displayed at the World's Fair of 1904, the Busch family purchased and reinstalled it about a mile south of its original location. The Busch family history goes back to 1857 when Eberhard Anheuser, a soap manufacturer, bailed out Urban and Hammer's Bavarian brewery with a loan and then proceeded to take over the business in partnership with his son-in-law.
Okay, the tram's about to take off. We're about to go on our Grant's Farm adventure. We're really excited to teach you all about the Grant Farm. This is Grant's Pond. On the left, look to the left, you'll get a glance at what it's called, Whitehaven.
Whitehaven? I think it's up there.
It's
gonna be on the left.
And then to your left is a fence made of all rifle barrels used during the Civil War. There's 2,653 of them that were used.
So that was the gate that was built in 1913 for Grant's Farm, and these are all made of rifle barrels. And the fence
is Grant's cabin.
This is Grant's cabin. This is the cabin that Grant and Julia lived in. I mean, just think about the history.
he lived there.
Prior to the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant built a log house for his wife Julia Dent on property that was given to the couple by her father and attempted to work as a farmer. He named the property Hardscrabble as a mocking comment on the quality of the soil of his farm, and the couple moved there in 1856. While Grant was pleased with the house, Julia was evidently less appreciative, as the couple lived there only 3 months before returning to Whitehaven. Hardscrabble is a horizontal log house with V-notched corners. It shares with only one other house in the country the distinction of having been built by the hand of a U.S. president. This period of struggle with the farm and the building of Hardscrabble were apparently dear to Grant's heart, as throughout the years after the war and his presidency, he was reassembling the Whitehaven property in the hope of retiring to a life of farming and raising horses.
Okay, now we're about to enter into the deer park.
Okay, so we're currently stopped. Not sure why. There's some longhorns.
All clear.
And here's...
That's pretty cool.
Here's some elk.
Sure. Yeah, we're right next to them.
There's a water buffalo.
Water
and
buffalo.
There's some zonkies.
No, I want to look this way.
Oh, look at this.
I love this. Can I have one?
No. They're protected. So we just walked in Grant's Farm, and right here are the goats.
And we're gonna go feed them and pet them.
I didn't know, but over here are the rabbits, and that's the carousel, which is sadly closed today. Oh my god, that one licked me!
Sienna, I'm scared. Sienna, I'm scared.
You're fine.
Sienna!
No, you got it.
Sienna! They're pushing me back! I'm so scared. Sienna, help! I'm so for real! Sienna! Sienna!
Okay, so we just left the goats, and now we're passing by some more animals. So cute.
And llamas. And I know it's an alpaca, actually.
Oh, peacock. Okay, so we're at the end of the animals, but the Grant's Farm is 281 acres large, and it is home to more than 900 animals. This is the Bauernhof, and this is where they used to keep the Clydesdales.
And what is it today?
It is now a food court.
Julius Pitzman was brought in to create a system of roads, lakes, and sewers on the estate, while landscaping of the grounds to complement Bush's love of animals and nature was the responsibility of George E. Kessler. With the works in full swing on all fronts, Bush decided that he also wanted to add a model scientific farm. Bush employed another pair of local architects, Klipstein and Rathman, to build the Bauernhof, costing $250,000. It was constructed with an emphasis on creating an old-world German feel and was influenced by photographs of the picturesque medieval town of Rothenburg in northern Bavaria. Aside from stables for 20 horses, dairies for 18 cows, storage for carriages, and all the latest farm technologies, it included apartments for the families of the farm workers. The roofline is decorated with sculptures of storks in nests, which in German folklore bring good luck and protection from fires.
Okay, these are the horse stables. We can't go in there right now, but they have Clydesdales in there and just some regular old horses in there. Okay, now we are in front of the Bush Mansion. It was originally built in 1913 and it has 26 bedrooms and 14 bathrooms. It was built for August Anheuser-Busch Sr. and his wife Alice Seisman, and it is French Renaissance Revival style.
Completed in 1913 for August Anheuser-Busch Sr. and his wife Alice Seisman, lies just past a wall of trees in the Bauernhof sits the Big House. It overlooks a 22 private acre deer park, once farmed by President Ulysses S. Grant, and still remains privately owned by the Bush family.
A group of wallabies called a mob.
This is the show area. They do shows with animals and just kind of show them off, but right now there's just a peacock hanging out and a few other cool birds.
The Budweiser Clydesdales were introduced at the end of Prohibition on April 7, 1933. August Bush Jr. purchased the hitch as a gift for his father, August Bush, as part of the celebration. The Clydesdales were then shipped by train to Washington, D.C., where they delivered the first case of post-Prohibition Budweiser to President Franklin Roosevelt for repealing Prohibition. The Dalmatian was added to the hitch in 1950 and would run alongside the horses while making deliveries. Today, the Clydesdales continue making hundreds of appearances a year at local farms, rodeos, festivals, and high-profile parades throughout the country. Training to pull the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdale hitch wagon takes place at Western Springs Ranch in Boonville, Missouri. The Clydesdales arrive as 3-year-olds having never pulled a wagon and leave as 5-year-olds part of the 8-horse hitch. The training process starts slowly with the Clydesdale wearing light riggings as it is introduced to the bit. The Clydesdales are first hooked to a training sled that allows them to adjust to the feeling of pulling a rig. Throughout the training, the horse will be introduced to bigger harness and wagons and will work each position of the hitch before completing training and joining one of the 3 traveling teams.
And my name is Craig Thomas. My official title is Curator of Animals
All right.
at Grant Farm.
Thank you. How many staff members do you have to maintain Grant's Farm?
Well, there are roughly 30 full-time people that work out all year round to maintain the grounds, care for the animals, and all of that. But when we're open to the public, there's as many as 450 to 500 team members that take care of our guests and take care of all the wonderful experiences we have here.
Oh, wow. All right, and then moving on to some more historical questions. What historical features and buildings are still at the farm?
Well, really almost all of them. Right now we're sitting inside the Bauernhof, which is the oldest building to be built on Grant Farm premises. It was built in 1910 and finished in 1911. It was basically built as a stables and coach house and a workshop and blacksmith and dairy farm and 5 living quarters for the farmhands that would work the land. August Bush Sr., who purchased the land in 1903, was very into farming and very much an animal person. He enjoyed collecting exotic animals, which is how Grant Farm all started. And he was instrumental in improving farming techniques to deal with the growing demands of World War I.
Oh, wow. And were Clydesdales kept in those stables?
That's a great question. Yes, there actually were Clydesdales kept in the stables, as well as many other championship-style horses, but the Budweiser Clydesdales didn't start until 1933. They were a marketing device to use to deliver the first cases of Budweiser to the White House and to the governor of New York following Prohibition, which was from 1920 to 1933. That's how the Budweiser Clydesdales started.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Is the Bush family still involved with the farms running at all?
Yes, they are. Anheuser-Busch operated Grant's Farm when it opened to the public in 1954 until 2021, and then it was purchased by members of the Bush family who now own and operate Grant's Farm. And we're trying to have something for all seasons, for all generations, and you know, Anheuser-Busch operated Grant's Farm as kind of a marketing expense.
Right.
And we're trying to make sure that it's just a sustainable business, that it can be around for generations and they can pass it on to their kids and then their kids. And Grant's Farm will be part of the St. Louis community for many generations to come.
Wonderful. Are there any, like, specific parts of the farm directly tied to Ulysses Grant?
Yes, that's another great question. So if you look at the history of this land here in South County, in St. Louis, it used to be part of a property called Whitehaven, which was 850 acres, owned by Colonel Frederick Dent. And then Ulysses S. Grant arrived in St. Louis around 1843 when he served in the Army.
What is your favorite part about working at Grant's Farm?
Oh, wow. That's tough. That's a tough one. You know, just a little bit of history. That I grew up in the St. Louis area here in Baldwin.
Oh, yeah.
I worked for Parkway for a while, but I actually went to Lafayette, so I hope we can still be friends.
Oh, okay, maybe.
But I moved to Florida for most of my adult life, and when I came back here, I went to Grant's Farm as a child. I played hockey at the Afton Ice Rink. So I was very familiar with this. But when I started to work here, it was shocking how little I knew about the history. So aside from all the awesome animals and seeing the Clydesdales and all that, you know, I've worked with animals for a long time, and it never gets old. You know, seeing the Clydesdale hitch or seeing the ride to the deer park and seeing all the amazing animals, the bison out there, or, you know, a bison, you know, being born, or all the other little animals that having, you know, animals brought into the world is always really exciting. But I think one of the things I enjoy the most is the history of the place. It's like working at a place where it's a scavenger hunt. You find a new piece of information every day, and I'm always curious